What's going on, everybody? This is Scott, also known as Cha-Ching King, and we'll cover a very important topic today. If you've been selling on eBay for any time at all, or if you've just gotten started, there has to be a time that you've considered, should I list an item for a buy it now price, or should I put it in an auction? And what I want to do in this video is tell you the things that I consider when I'm making that decision. We use buy it now for almost everything that we do, and there are some reasons for that. There are a few items that we auction, and those do exceptionally well for us. So let's go ahead and dive right in. We're going to start with buy it now and why we choose that most of the time, and what some of the new options are that eBay allows with buy it now. You decide what price you want to get for that, and you list it at that price. We do buy it now because we have a pretty good idea what our items are worth. And so when we list an item, if it's worth $39.95, we're going to list it for that. We don't need to run an auction to see what it will sell for. There's a couple of other considerations. When we're doing buy it now, we're not normally in a hurry. We have time to list an item and let it sit. And then we will wait and see when it sells. And it doesn't matter to us whether that's 2 weeks or, quite frankly, 2 years. That's one of the questions I get, is how long do you leave it sit? Well, for us, it doesn't matter. We don't maintain a large inventory, and most of the things that we list sell fairly quickly. That said, it doesn't matter to us if they sit. One of the other things that we like about buy it now is that we're in control of that price. It's not up to chance. We're not going to end up selling it for an amount that we didn't expect. We're not going to end up selling it for something that's really, truly disappointing. And we knew when we listed it about what it was worth. There is something that we have chosen to take advantage of that eBay offers for buy it now, and that is best offer. And here's what best offer is in a nutshell if you're not sure. I list an item for, say, $39.95, but I'm open to somebody sending me an offer. So there's a little box that you can check when you create your listing, and it says, allow buyers to send me an offer. And included in that choice, you can set a minimum, like I don't want to consider anything below this amount. You can also set something that automatically accepts an offer if it's above a certain amount. We don't check either of those boxes, and let me explain why. Best offer allows me to go see the feedback that they have left other sellers. And 99% of the time, that feedback is just fine. There are some people that use feedback like a weapon. Like, you can tell they leave nothing but negative feedback, or it's constant complaints, or they talk about all the returns. If I see a ton of that compared to what they've bought, then I don't really want to take a low offer from them. If that feedback were terrible enough, I might decline their offer and block them. That doesn't happen very often, but I have control of that. So buy it now with best offer on is what Melody and I choose. Here is a reason you would not want to turn best offer on. If you're doing a buy it now and you know what your item is worth, and all a best offer is going to do is make you angry that you've already put a good price on it and now they're going to send you a ridiculously low price, don't put best offer on. Remember, you need to build this business for what suits you. And if I'm doing something that doesn't sit well with you, don't do that. It's your business. I can tell you right now that somebody who's consistently leaving good feedback, at least it seems that they're super easy to work with, man, those people get a better deal from me, and I'm happy to do that. So most of the items that we sell, we know what they're worth, we don't mind waiting, and we list them with best offer so that we get an opportunity to take a peek at the buyer before we do business with them. And for us, that's the model we choose most of the time. But there are times when we choose auction. And I want to talk to you about exactly what it takes for me to auction an item off. If I know that an item is worth this amount, like it won't go below this, but I don't know how high that will go. I can tell by looking that there's not any listed or very, very few listed, and there's way more sold than there are ones that are listed. There are way more people looking than there are people that are selling. An example of that would be like an FFA Sweetheart jacket. they typically, if you list it just at a buy it now price, it's going to sell immediately. You could get $100 within 10 minutes because people have it saved to show up if it's on a buy it now. That jacket might go for $250. It might go for $350. It might go for $550. And depending upon the jacket, it's hard to tell. So I know where the floor is. I don't know where the ceiling is. And if I've got one that's in good shape, man, I might try an auction for that because it's going to go for more than it will if I do it as a buy it now. Your other option would be to list it high on a buy it now, but you could still miss the mark. An example of missing the mark would be something like a Mitchell jacket. I found an M65 Mitchell jacket. It's a very rare pattern. Very few survived. And I don't know what the floor is, but I know that there were none for sale for like the last 10 years. An item like that on auction is going to perform extremely well. That jacket that I had ended up selling for $1,285, and I can live with that. But I'm telling you right now, on a different day, that jacket could have hit $5,000 or $6,000. That's the reason that I auction is it's got so much demand and so little supply that the price may go much higher than even my high estimate on a buy it now. There's a couple of other reasons that you would run an auction. Sometimes we go through our old inventory and I just want to move stuff. And so the price is no longer important to me. I'm not concerned about maximizing my dollars. I might be concerned about maximizing my space. And so I can, every once in a while, we'll take our 20 oldest items. They've been sitting for a long time. And maybe we've improved as a buyer when we're picking up inventory. Maybe our listings have improved. But for whatever reason, we're ready to move this on to somebody else. Another reason to run auctions might be that you need to raise some capital. Here's the thing. If you run a 7-day auction, that auction is going to end in 7 days. And so if I were to go into my store and say, take 100 items and put them at a very fair starting price, I'm going to sell a lot of items within 7 days. I can raise some capital fairly quickly. And that might, I mean, there's all kinds of reasons that you might need to raise capital, like maybe because you need capital. But that's another thing that an auction can do that's more difficult to control with buy it now. Here's a couple of caveats that you need to be aware of. With an auction, if a buyer wins the auction, they're supposed to pay. It doesn't mean they're going to pay. And so there is some frustration that comes along with auctions that you will put something up, it goes through the process, it gets lots of bids, and then they just never pay. And I believe, I haven't talked to any other resellers that don't believe eBay needs to address that, and they haven't. And that is one of the reasons that we tend to side towards more buy it now, is because when I list something on a buy it now, I'm going to get paid. But it won't have any impact if you take a best offer or you send out best offers. And it won't have any impact on your auction. You can't even check the box that says requires immediate payment. But that is one of the things that stops me from running more auctions, is that if I sell it, I actually want to sell it. Those are the things that you need to consider when you're trying to decide for yourself which is better, buy it now or an auction. For us, buy it now is what we use most of the time. And it gives me a lot of control over how much I'm going to sell it for, and I don't mind waiting. I do run an auction when I'm trying to move old stock out. I use an auction when I want to have a little bit of bump to the store and get things moving quickly. And I use an auction when I have something that I know the demand is crazy high. Hopefully you find some of this helpful. If so, I would love it if you would click the subscribe button. That's it for this one. I appreciate you watching. I'm going to see you real soon on the next one. Bye.